3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and joining me, as always, is Stan the Man. Stan, what do you got to drink today, buddy? Oh, yeah, you're calling it right. It's a hot summer day. Got a Mountain Dew Slurpee. Good call, as always. And today, we got the In-N-Out Weekly Comics Pull List. It's another episode. You know what it is. You saw the title when you clicked. There's no surprises. 26th episode for this year, for 2019. It is June 19th. Marvel Comics. Normally, you guys, if you watch, those of you who watched previous episodes, you'll notice I always do a gimmick here where I call out Marvel for all the number ones they release week after week after week after week. Make fun of them, poke fun. You're like, why does it say Marvel Comics all big letters? Well, it's kind of it's a Marvel day. First of all, I got nothing to make fun of. Marvel, for the first time in 2019, 26 weeks in, halfway through the year, did not release a number one issue. Hallelujah. Sorry, I don't have the budget for sound effects and to do the actual real choir, so I just did it myself. No new number ones? Are you freaking kidding me? But that's not all. That's not all. You notice on my comic book box here, I got Spider-Man, Marvel Comics Previews. Why? Well, it's because I started buying Marvel Comics. And I didn't plan it for this. Like, it's so weird. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start buying some Marvel Comics. It's time. And I got home and I was like, wow, Marvel didn't do new number ones. And I'm buying new Marvel Comics. What? There must be some sort of like planets in alignment, something going on that I'm not aware of. Wow. So what comics are you buying, Ash? Well, you probably saw on the thumbnail. It's not going to be a big surprise. But I got to tell you what. First of all, shout out to friend of the channel, fellow comics aficionado on Thinking Critical's YouTube channel that I frequent on his live streams. I should be on this Saturday too, by the way. Shout out to Just Pele, one of the regulars on that, one of the comic aficionados. He and I had a bit of a debate behind the scenes about comics and whether to buy. And I'm very adamant about not paying for contempt. If you are a comic professional and you have contempt for me, hey, so be it, right? Humans, we're all humans. We don't get along. If you have contempt for me, I don't like it, but whatever. But don't show it to me. That's all. Don't show it to me. If you show me that you have contempt, if you display it, then I'm not necessarily going to go badmouth you. I'm not going to go think you're a horrible person. But I'm not going to go give you money. That's my thinking. I consider mass blocking customers based on some sort of block bot, script that you run. Maybe it's like, oh, everyone that follows Ethan Van Sciver, I'm going to block. People do that. Okay. Well, you may not like Ethan Van Sciver, but to show contempt for anyone that follows him like that with no reason, I'm not going to give you money, right? Now, if I call you an asshole and you block me, that's on me, right? Like, you blocked me for a reason. But if you block me for no reason, that's just basically you just think I'm a garbage human being, I guess. And these pros have said it. Marvel has been right in the thick of it for years with their professionals calling fans garbage human beings. And like I said, it's one thing to disagree and not like each other or whatever, but you're taking it a step past where you're asking these people, your fans or customers, to give you money on top of it. On top of accepting your contempt, also give me money so that I can be well off and you can pay for expensive comics while I shit on you. Anyways, I digress. I'm shouting out to Pele. We had a long discussion, long argument about it. He doesn't see the same way I do about it. He's a retailer. His things that are important to him, his priorities are not the same priorities as mine. That's all fine. But he got me thinking. We were talking about Chip Zdarsky. I recently found out that Chip Zdarsky blocks me. And I was really pissed because I was like, here I am talking the world about Chip Zdarsky and how amazing Spider-Man life story is. Freaking fantastic. Sergeant Batts has donated some digital copies of Daredevil to me so that I could read, and I'm reviewing them. And those are fantastic. And I'm just like, holy shit, this Chip Zdarsky, he used to be a raging SJW. He drew that cover of Hawkeye where he like basically makes fun of the fans as he turns Hawkeye into a girl. And then as he's doing that, he's basically making fun of the fans on a Marvel cover. It's wow. So he used to be like that. He used to be very antagonistic, but he's like in the past year and a half, he's really just gone silent, started just working hard. His quality of material has just gone through the moon, like to the moon. Like it's just amazing. He's one of the best writers. I even advocated DC's best move, in my opinion, to replace Tom King on Batman is Chip Zdarsky. Find a way to pull that guy from Marvel. Don't go in-house. You could throw Jeff Johns. You could throw Robert Venditti. They have quality guys there that would do a great job. But what really shake things up would throw someone like Chip Zdarsky on there, who I think would do awesome based on what he's doing with Daredevil. And the talent that they have could stay developing the books that they're already doing. Because remember, guys, every time you say, I want so-and-so to be on this book, you're also asking for them to be pulled off of another book. And that sucks if you're a fan of that book. So, big, long diatribe on that. Sorry, but that's how you know how I roll. I just wanted to talk about it. I think it's just weird how everything aligned. Shout out to Pele. You made me reevaluate my thinking on the books. And I broke down and I bought two Daredevil comics today. So I mulled over what you said, Pele. I know we got in a little bit of argument, but I did respect your opinions, and they did plant some seeds, and they got me to think, reevaluate my own perspective. And if any of you guys that watch me or interact with me on Twitter or anything, I can be very argumentative. It's because I test the value of my own thoughts based on the merits of my opponent's argument. So Pele had a very strong argument, and I was able to then go, okay, there's a lot of points that held up, and I reevaluated my own perspective, and it influenced me. So anyways, that's not interesting. You're like, God, shut up, Ash. Shut the hell up. Let's get into things. Starting off, as always, it's In-N-Out Burger time. There is few things better to eat with comics, I would argue, than an In-N-Out Burger. Oh, look at this, beautiful. I talked before about the burger smiling. This is what I'm talking about, how it's just open, just big, wide grin. Look at that. What do you think? Yeah, Stan's excited. You're going to get a bite, Stan? Let me have a drink. Oh, man. I was talking to Bats last week, and we were talking about Slurpees and stuff. He's like, nothing goes better with reading comics than a Slurpee on a hot day. And I was like, holy shit, it was like midnight we were talking. I was like, I'm going to go get a Slurpee. I didn't actually, but today I was getting comics. I remembered that conversation. I was like, I'm definitely getting a Slurpee today. A Slurpee, In-N-Out Burger, you can't fucking beat it. I'm going to devour this, and then we're going to go over my comics, and yeah. And we're back. How was that burger, Stan? Yeah, I knew you'd like it. And, geez, buddy, did you save me any Slurpee? Good Lord. Thanks, bud. Appreciate that. Hey, just before I get started, let's cover my digital stuff. Got it up here on screen. I subscribe to Comixology Unlimited, which is awesome. If you like to read a lot of comics, if you like to devour comics, $5.99 a month, and you get a huge library of Comixology, what they call their Unlimited. You also get a 10 to 15% discount on other comics, depending on the publisher and how they participate. One thing I like about Comixology besides that is their deep discounts on trade paperbacks. I got this big iPad Pro here, 12-inch screen. It's gorgeous to look at. It's lightweight. It's easy to hold. And I really like reading comics on it. In fact, you've seen I pretty much read all my comics. I get digital copies of all my comics, and I just read them digitally. I don't have to worry about greasy fingers or being too dark. I can read it in bed at night. I don't have to worry about, crunching the books. That collector in me, what am I doing? I'm not trying to download you. Stop. Well, might as well download all these. Anyways, I just bought them. So what I was saying is they have the deep discounts on trade paperbacks. So a lot of times you're like, I really want to go back and read this story, but you're not really wanting to go invest in the back issues. I'm as a collector, there's some books I just love and I want to physically own the copies of the books. For whatever reason, I want to collect them. There's that collector mentality. And if you're a collector, you understand. If you're not a collector, you probably don't. Some books, I just love the stories. I want to read them. I don't necessarily care about owning the floppies so much. So I picked up, like last week, there was a big sale. And I picked up all these Usagi Yojimbos for $1 a piece. So it's it came out last year. Dark Horse had a 7-issue Usagi miniseries. Maybe it was like a year and a half ago. When I got back into comics, this was like already halfway through. And even though I'm an Usagi, I didn't go back and pick. I should have. I don't know why I didn't. I'm an idiot. I'd also picked up Alien 3, the William Gibson screenplay for Alien 3 that Dark Horse put into a comic. I picked up the first two a long time ago. They were like super sale, like 99 cents a piece. I was like, yay. And then now the rest are $1 a piece. So I've got the whole series now of Alien 3. And then just recently, Father's Day, I picked up the Jonathan Hickman Volume 1 of his FF, Freedom Foundation. He's coming out with X-Men. He's got the whole big hub. Everyone's like, oh my God, Hickman's doing X-Men, blah, blah. I was like, Hickman sort of came around right after I got out of comics. In fact, I think this book is it's like the late 90s, I want to say. I think this is. His Fantastic Four run was for sure late 90s. That's when everyone's like, oh, you got to read his Fantastic Four run. So I read this, or I'm in the process. I'm like 4 books into it. And I was like, I want to see how he writes. Should I get excited for X-Men? If I read his stuff and I'm like, oh my God, he's amazing, then I might get excited for X-Men. If I read his stuff and it's garbage, then I'll just continue on as normal. As you can see, what should happen is I shouldn't be stopping mid-trade. I should be blowing through this. I'm not. It's okay. I don't have really complaints about this book. Well, maybe I do. It's nothing major though. It's not like a Bendis book or anything. It's fine. It's okay comics. I don't see what anyone is ecstatic about, other than the fact that sure, if this book were coming out today, you could have reason, because Marvel's such shit. You'd be like, oh my God, this is a good book. Like, relatively, it's a good book, but I've read so much better, like, consistently. And then I've, just the other day, yesterday, Marvel's currently having a 50% off sale. Use the code MARVEL2019. It's not 50%, it's buy one, get one free. So, I was like, oh shit. And it applies to sale prices. So, like Venom, this Venom trade is like $3. The Ghost Rider's like $3 or whatever. So I was like, oh, buy one, get one free. So I bought these both. It cost me $3 for the first Venom trade and the first Cosmic Ghost Rider trade by Donny Cates. And I was already reading this on Marvel Unlimited, and I was so impressed. I was like, okay, I'm going to buy these. I want to own them. They're that good. So that's what I've got recently. Trump Space Force. I even bought it. I already own this physically. I bought a second copy digitally. A little while back, there was a big sale. Look at this. I got the entire New Frontier by our boy Darwin Cook. This is the entire deluxe edition, all volumes. Normally it's like $30. I got it for $5. Picked up Grand Design. I also pre-ordered the other one, so I'll have all of them digitally. Yeah, so Bats is donating Daredevils to me. That's why I have these. So that's my digital stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Here's my physical stuff. And All right, so as usual, got the receipts to prove that I did not go into the comic book store and just steal a bunch of comics. Paid $36. I really got to bring this down. I really want to be $25 or under per week. $100 a month on comics, I think, is plenty. But that's goes without saying, like how like comics. There's a lot to complain about comics. Comics is not fixed, but that goes to show you that things are getting better. Comicsgate had an impact. I wouldn't be buying Marvel if Comicsgate didn't have an impact. So starting today off, one of my favorite comics of all time, Stan Sakai's Usagi Yojimbo. Except no substitutions. There were multiple covers by people I love, like Kevin Eastman, Walt Simonson. There is one cover I want to get, Charles Vess. You guys, if you're a modern comic fan, you probably don't know who Charles Vess is. He was an old school 90s artist, real big, like Vertigo stuff. He did some Sandman. He did one of the Books of Magic miniseries. Each book in that miniseries had a different artist. He did one of them. Charles Vess is amazing. He did Neil Gaiman's, I can't remember, Stardust. If you ever read the Stardust book, he did that. Charles Vess is amazing. Anyways, he did one of the variant covers. It's a Comic-Con, it's like Heroes Con exclusive, but it's got Usagi and it's got a Asian, like a Japanese dragon, which I'm a huge dragon fanatic. And it's like, I want to get that. That's something to track down if I can get it at a reasonable price. But I'm not hunting down, Grail books. Sticking with indies, Firefly. I'm basically buying this book because it's Firefly. I'm a Firefly fan. I was not one of these people that just used to freak out about Firefly. In fact, I skipped out on Firefly when everyone's like, "Oh my God, Firefly is the most amazing show ever," got canceled. I was like, "Oh, okay, I gotta check this out. I like sci-fi." And I watched it and I was like, it's an okay show. I don't see why people are freaking out about it. Then Serenity came out. I wanted to see it in theaters, but I ended up not. Then I caught it later, and that's where I fell in love. I was like, wow, Serenity is an amazing film. Then I went back and watched the series again with a new light, and then I fell in love with it. And I was like, okay, I kind of see what people are saying. Now I'm a Firefly fan. So it took a long time coming, but I became a fan. So now I'm just kind of buying the book. Greg Pak's doing an okay job. The art it's indie. It's not, but I'm fine with it. This is not a kind of book you buy for art. You buy it for the dialogue and the characters. Greg Pak's doing a competent job. He's obviously no Joss Whedon, but, it's fun with the characters. It's quality, published book. I'll keep buying it for the foreseeable future. So here we go. Marvel, look at this. Daredevil. No devils, only God. This book is hot. I can't find, my store did not have any back issues earlier than number 4. And Bats has given me some of the digital issues. So I was like, I'll start on the second trade. That's what this one is, part 1 here. So I was like, okay, if Bats will donate me issue 4 and 5, then I'll have the whole story. So I got issue 7, right? This is the one that came out today. Part 2. I'm going to give Zdarsky a shot. Pele, don't say I never listened to you. And then more Marvel. Guardians of the Galaxy number 5. This is a shout out to my boy, The Real Comic Stacks. He's got a channel. He's also part of the Comics Aficionados. He's not regularly on the stream, but he's part of the behind the scenes discussions that we talk about, and he occasionally will guest on. He's got his own channel anyways, Real Comic Stacks. And he's done like a whole 5-part. He's reviewed every single one of these. And I was following along on the Guardians. I was like, oh, this is good. This looks like up my alley. First of all, I like Guardians of the Galaxy. Second, I love Beta Ray Bill. Third, Donny Cates is the reason you get Marvel. He's like, I'm not going to say he's the new Stan Lee. Stan, I'm not saying that. But for modern day Marvel, he's the equivalent of what Stan Lee was back in his day. Like this is the ship that you rally around this guy. That's what you should be doing. Like in the 60s, you rallied around what Stan Lee was doing. rally around Donny Cates. He will take you home. So I was watching Real Comic Stacks videos, and I was like, why am I not getting this book? I like Donny Cates. I know why I wasn't getting it, because I was anti-Marvel, and I wasn't even getting Venom, so why would I be getting it? But Silver Surfer, holy shit, see my review on Silver Surfer Black. This ties into it. I'm going to get into the Donny Cates verse. I'm not diving in headfirst into Marvel. I still think Marvel is 95% terrible. Here's the 5% that's not terrible. There's a few other books, too, that people like, but they're just not my cup of tea. And I'm going to give this a shot. We'll see. And then for DC, we got Superman. Now, this is actually last week's book. If you watched last week's video, I had picked up Supergirl by mistake because it looked like a Superman cover. That's the problem when you get these full art covers. It's easy. And I think it was in the Superman stack. And so I was just like, oh, grab. And yeah. But my comic book store was cool enough. They're like, okay, yeah, just bring it back. We'll swap it out. That's why treat your comic book store nice. There's a lot of people they probably wouldn't have done that for, but I treat them nice and respectful. And I'm thankful to when they help me out. And whenever I need something, they help me out. It's win-win. And Batman. This is my Stockholm Syndrome comic. I will not be. This is, by the way, I did a review on this. It's up. Please, Artie, you can see this. This is the last Superman comic I'm buying. Bendis, you're done. I will be buying Action Comics 1012. That comes out, I think, next week. And then I'm done with Action Comics. But this is the last Superman because I just want to finish the run. I want to have at least the complete run because if I offload it on eBay or something, having the entire arc is better than not, I think. Anyways, and plus I'm just OCD weird. This book I haven't been convinced to drop yet. Plus now that I know that Tom King is leaving, I feel like just stick it out because if I drop it now and then pick it up, I'll be like, there's that hole. I know, I shouldn't do it. And then last, but certainly not least, the most probably underappreciated book in comics right now, Justice League. Scott Snyder is to DC what Donny Cates is to Marvel. These two guys are the young guns, the talent of the future. Both of these guys, I don't know why I'm pointing to Batman, are super creative idea men. In fact, I would love if Donny Cates came over to DC so I could see what these two would do together, if they could collaborate. Their ideas. That's one of the things that I'm getting into Marvel now. What wowed me about Venom, and now that I'm Silver Surfer, and hopefully Guardians of the Galaxy, is not only does he write well, he's creative. He takes characters in new directions, does new things with them, introduces new characters to the mythos that are interesting. That is an important thing to be able to do in comics. You don't need every writer in your stable to do that. You definitely need your just solid writers that can just churn them out. You need your James Tynions IV. You need your Peter Tomasis. You need your Dan Jurgens. These guys will just churn out solid comics month after month, and they'll be enjoyable, and they're fun, and you like them. They're probably not going to break any new ground. They're probably not going to introduce anything too radical. It's a very difficult thing to do, as evidenced by Bendis and Tom King trying to do it, and they're just striking out. When you do this, you also have to do it in a compelling fashion that excites the fans, and it makes them even more love the character. Because you take the character and you do something bizarre with them, you could have fans just backlash. Look what happened with Wally West. Just don't do. That's the wrong way to do it. But Cates and Snyder, they do it right. Anyways, that's my poll for this week. Have a look. Tell me what you think is best. What you like. What you're pulling. What do you think about me jumping on the Marvel bandwagon? Are you a Marvel person? If you're like, it's about time, Ash. Or are you just like, oh, Trader Ash, why are you jumping on that sinking ship? Thank you to Bats, Sergeant Bats. Shout out, watch his channel. He donated those Daredevil books. I do have more reviews forthcoming, I promise you. Thank you to Real Stacks again. Thinking Critical, thank you for including me amongst the comic aficionados. And, your fantastic reviews. Shout out to all those guys. They're my boys. Sagio Jimbo. Here's my number. I haven't even read this book, and I'm already like, just pick this up. It's a 3-issue miniseries. It's so fantastic. That was not Stan, I promise. Pick up, if you've never read Usagi Yojimbo, go pick up a trade, one of the early ones, or just pick this up. It is not a silly, it is kind of silly, but it works. It's silly for adults. It's not Silly Billy. It's cartoony. It's cartoon, but it's a serious cartoon with real messages, real stories, with a real character that you can fall in love with. It's charming, it's funny, it's fun, it's exciting. This is an all-time classic. I don't know how many more years Stan Sakai is going to be able to do Usagi Yojimbo. He's been doing it since the 80s. So try this. 3-issue miniseries. It's the only IDW comic I buy. Thank you for watching. You thought I would forget, didn't you? You're probably wondering, Ash, you didn't get Frank Miller Superman Year 1 after all talking about it? Here it is in all its glory. Bigger than a normal comic book, as you can see with Usagi Yojimbo by comparison. It is the same size as Batman Damned, and I'm not really happy with that. I really wish this were, the Batman Last Night on Earth. But I guess I'll take it. $7.99 is more than I wish I have to pay for a comic book. As you can see, I got the Frank Miller art cover, which I actually like better than what was in the promo. I thought it was going to be a different cover. This was pretty cool. I do like this cover a lot. I do not like the John Romita. I usually normally like John Romita Jr. a lot. I do not like his cover for Superman Year 1, or the art that I've seen. I haven't even flipped through this at all. I don't know what's in store. But yeah, so you're probably, if you thought I was forgetting, now you know that I wasn't. This is the last but not least. Stan, what do you think, buddy? Yep, Frank Miller. You like Frank. Frank's a good caretaker of comics, isn't he? Yep. He'll be on Mount Rushmore with you, buddy, one day. So hopefully this comic lives up to my hype. If it's not, I will be honest with you. But it won't take away from the legend that Frank Miller is. And you know what? It can't be worse than Bendis. Am I right? Am I right, Stan? Right. See you next time, guys.